I need to get a crown, and they tried to do a filling, that doesn't work, and so a crown kind of goes over your tooth. I go in on Wednesday, and then they take a permanent mold and a temporary mold till the permanent mold gets there, so the temporary goes on. I literally get home, take one bite of food, temporary cracks. I call them up, closed on Thursday. I'm like, well, that's not good. Friday, hey, they're like, oh, that's weird. Come back in. I come in, no big deal. They put another temporary on. I leave 30 minutes later. I get home, take a bite of food, cracks again. I come back up there again. At this point, the dentist and the dental assistant, there's tension. Like, he's frustrated. Like, why do you keep messing with this temporary? Something needs to be done right, I'll do it. That's the attitude. I'm feeling that in the room. Maybe it's just me, but I'm feeling that. So I go, I sit down, and the dentist, he's a little aggressive. He's like, so what's the problem here? It keeps cracking. I'm not like eating Laffy Taffy. I don't know. Finger goes in my mouth. It's just like swirling around in there. I'm leaning back. I'm like, okay. And then I see him reach with his right hand. I see him reach for this metal thing. And he pulls it up. And I just was there for 2 hours on Wednesday, so I know what that metal thing is. I'm like, that's a drill. And then he goes, when you use like a drill, he like pushes the button. Like, is there good power to the drill? It's like, and I'm like, and I'm laying there, and he's bringing it towards my mouth, and then he says this phrase. He says, tell me if this hurts. I immediately jerk my body to the side, make eye contact with him, and I say, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. He's like, well, do you want a shot? And I'm like, no, I don't want any pain. Like, I'm just asking, is it absolutely necessary every road you're going down right now? And then he says, I don't think it will hurt, but just let me know if it does. And I'm like, I feel like we should answer that before. I want to answer that on the front end, not on the back end. And he's just like, look, I don't think there's any other way. I don't think this is going to hurt. And then I watched this drill with no Novocaine come into my mouth, and it didn't. It didn't hurt. But it was incredibly uncomfortable. You're right, just going on in your mouth. And it's kind of similar like that with these lasting biblical friendships. It's going to be uncomfortable. And you need to know that Jesus is cheering for you. Jesus has given us in him lasting biblical friendships. He's telling us, like, look, I know what this can be like. I told the dentist afterwards, I'm just like, I think you're way too familiar with the drill. Like, I'm not familiar with the drill. That's probably why I'm getting a crown. I don't come to dentists a lot. You're very familiar with this. And so we're not familiar with this lasting biblical friendships. But Jesus knows what we can have. He's given it to us in Christ.